coming in on the opposite side. A couple of the AD carries left open as well, with like the Aphelios being there. Gnar, another big pick that we've seen just blind pickable, where not an awful lot of people are able to really deal with it. So already EDG setting up for like a bit of a short range dive composition with the Gnar, with that Wukong, something that certainly wants to get up in your face. So I wouldn't be surprised to see them trying to eye up something like an Aphelios or something along these lines. Unless Rare Adam want to try and take that away here for iBoy, which means we may see Viper respond with a Jinx.
I would expect to get a little bit more focus on some of these comfort picks in the first phase, at least, because obviously looking at what we'll get as counters for EDG specifically as the game plays out. But it looks like Gwen, actually, the pickup here. So we'll go with the solo lanes first for Rare Adam. I would expect a jungle here to try and get Leyan something in this first phase before the bans keep coming out towards his direction.
It's really interesting to see like Kalista and Renata and those kind of things slipping through the draft here. I thought they would have been like slightly higher priority, as they have been so incredibly strong. And the thing is, you can always go for the Renata here for EDG on this next rotation, right? You have your top, you have your jungle, and you can still be relatively strong in the mid lane with things like the Lysandra that can still go into the Taliyah. You can always fall back towards the Azir. Rise is another counter that we've seen starting to rise up in prominence in towards things like the Taliyah. So but no, we're actually just going to get the Azir banned away. So now I imagine EDG are going to ban away those AD carries because they know that they'll have first pick here. Again, they can just leave counter pick for Meiko.
Which is absolutely incredible. We were talking earlier about like the connection between Meiko and Yuyanjia and trying to see how they can flourish with that and get that synergy even more on point. And I think if you get something like that from Meiko where he feels confident, where he gets a little bit of agency, you got to be scared for RA. But I can appreciate the Scout Azir pick. I think we've seen some very nice moments from him, and especially a lot of the setup there, right? You're looking at the Mega Gnar ulti with the Shurima shuffle. It's a lot of movement around, but we'll have to see in the second phase what we get, because we're already into the bans here. Kalista banned by EDG, focusing down that bottom lane even more so here as Senna banned by RA.
It's been interesting to see Rare Adam going towards these bans as well. So I'm curious to see if EDG respond. I think Renata would be a phenomenal pick for Rare Adam right now, and because you're trying to set up as like kind of a in-your-face composition for the team fights, having a Renata for Rare Adam just causes a lot of issues. So I wouldn't be surprised to see EDG actually ban away, because I don't think it's as strong for their it's still insane, but like not as strong for their composition, just because like you've got the Gwen who can try and get away from that with her own Hollowed Mist. The Taliyah's auto attacks don't deal a huge amount of damage in the grand scheme of things, but they may still be eyeing that up for themselves, and maybe we actually see the AD carry
really
pinched here, because I think, so the thing is, right, if you take Renata in this situation, you've got a bailout for Azir, attack speed, great, bailout is just fantastic as a pick as well. Maybe you end up pushing Rare Adam in towards something like the Aphelios pick, which means then Viper gets the Jinx, which means you've got like two super long range carries that could also have a Renata there to keep them safe. So maybe you just take the Renata here for Meiko and then try and keep the counter pick and the Jinx here for the Aphelios, but Viper's just going to lock in his own.
Yeah,
so everyone at EDG is just playing solo queue right now. They're just locking in their own champions.
I mean, at this point, right? Like that's all you really need. I feel like the Braum ban at the end from RA is targeted towards Meiko. I was wondering if we were going to get a 6th ADC ban, but I think Viper and Meiko are just fine with where they're at right now. And I think giving the Jinx over, obviously huge potential to carry at least, but I think that this would be a comfort pick. This would be something that would be a little bit more stable for RA to play around the bottom lane, as long as they get something comfortable to go with it for Yuyanjia.
Yeah, the biggest problem is they need engage, which is very lacking right now on their squad. Like, so maybe they don't feel like they can really take the Renata, which is what EDG might have been reading. So you might need to go towards something like a Leona here, or even a Nautilus, to try and make sure you can actually have that engage. And yeah, it will be the Nautilus, which means I think the Renata going to be fantastic here for EDG. You already have your engage in the Wukong, great follow-up in either the Azir or the Gnar if you really need extra. And then every time you see that Nautilus will come out, you just use the Renata ult and set yourself up nicely. So looks like EDG, honestly, with the draft that they have, seem like in a really good spot for these fights. Rare Adam are definitely going to be heavily relying on Strive with this Taliyah to try and make early plays happen, to try and control these fights and separate out members of EDG, so Rare Adam can actually take these fights a little bit easier.
Yeah, it's the thing we wanted, right? A little bit of stability, a little bit of clean play calling, if we can get it from RA. I still feel like EDG kind of stuck their hand in the goodie bag and got everything they wanted for Christmas. But, you know, in the end, it's all about execution for it. And I think, again, the biggest spotlight is on what Leyan can do to hopefully prop up this bottom lane or at least defend from Yuyanjia, and what EDG want to approach as a win condition for this game, because I think they have a lot of options moving forward here, Dagda.
Well, I think the interesting thing is that one of the big highlights that we had coming into this was like a strong mid jungle for EDG. Azir doesn't give that. It's one of the biggest criticisms I've had of Edward Gaming this split has been the fact they're going towards Azirs and Corkis, not really giving Scout, excuse me, a huge amount of control to try and move towards bot side, to try and move towards dragons. So I think looking at this with a Taliyah and a Wukong, Taliyah and the Trundle on the opposite side coming through for Rare Adam, they have a huge amount of pressure that they can try and put in towards this mid lane, unlock drive, lean down towards the bottom side, and actually start to work through, you know, the pushing bot lane with the Jinx, the pushing mid control that this Taliyah offers, and try and make early plays happen. Because if they don't, like, Aphelios scales late game, Azir scales late game, you're going to be totally fine for EDG.
Now, do you feel like RA have a little bit more to give, I guess, in that aspect? I guess we'll find out in the game, because the scaling aspects could come, but it could be all about the early skirmishes. EDG, one series win away from locking in the summer playoffs. Their opponent ahead of them, trying to be a little bit of a bump in the road here. RA versus EDG, game 1 starts now.
For Rare Adam, this is going to be a test. Again, they need to win almost every single game just to make sure they can hit 7. Well, they need to win every single series to make sure they can hit 7. But even that doesn't really guarantee them a spot in the playoffs. So a loss here pretty much guarantees that they will not have a chance to hit playoffs. So with this composition, I want to see Leyan moving into towards drive, being able to support both the mid and that bot lane, and then honestly just playing into the style that we highlighted, right? Like, if iBoy is just able to free farm and free push in this bot side, he should be able to get turret plates. He should be able to have a good spot. And if you ever try and like overextend or push in this wave of Viper or Meiko, that's when Strive can come in onto the bottom side.
We're going to get a little bit of a late game or late invade here by RA. I'll get the blue buff from EDG. So nice little moves early on for Rare Adam, actually.
Yeah, and it kind of splitting the map here, which is going to be fantastic, as we said, for iBoy and Yuyanjia. And I think this is the big focal point that's going to be seen for Rare Adam, is trying to give this space to Jinx to have push in this bottom side. Looks like Meiko and Viper were able to spot out the fact that iBoy and Yuyanjia came from the jungle of Yuyanjia, though, so maybe that information now going across to Yuyanjia, and he'll mix up his path.
We'll see. He's doing chickens right now. His wolves actually got taken away. Now it's a full-on Gromp steal from Leyan as well. I would immediately think Yuyanjia is going to sniff something out, either go for something early or go for that cross-map play. And this separates the teams a little bit. EDG realize they need to move in. They will spot out that the jungle is already gone, so knowing Leyan has done this vertical pathing here. And RA set up for the bottom lane stability we kind of wanted.
Thing is, though, that because Viper and Meiko left the wave, this gives full control over to iBoy. So I'm curious to see if iBoy like goes for, you know, fourth wave crash, quick reset, gets the cull, and then comes back and like again just plays into this farming factor that this Jinx wants to go for right now. Leyan, though, going for a bit of a different route now. Going to spot Yuyanjia out, but no blast cone, and Yuyanjia and Leyan have smite.
He started the Gromp first, so he's still doing the blue here in the pillar. Gonna have to dodge out of that one, and Leyan will bring back.
Oh my god, what happened?
Viper, he's stepping up, and he gets Dredgeline to the face. Yuyanjia able to separate him away from iBoy there.
How do you lose that? You're a level ahead. What happened, iBoy? I don't understand how you're level 1 to level 2 and you're losing out on the trade. But this is what we're talking about. Like, I don't understand what iBoy and Yuyanjia get up to half the time, because, like, you're actually winning on the map. Like, Leyan being able to come back up and steal away his blue buff puts Yuyanjia in a really uncomfortable position. But then iBoy and Yuyanjia just kind of fail miserably on the bottom side.
Looks like we'll get a little picture-in-picture replay of the blue buff fight. Hopefully we'll get one on the bottom lane as well, since it was happening about the same time. But yeah, it's really interesting to see how many times and how consistently the chaos kind of comes to bite RA in the bottom lane.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, you do get that reset we're talking about coming through for iBoy, where he actually, I'm going to hold on to this because Yuyanjia.
Oh, there's the picture-in-picture of the bottom lane.
So, yeah, so they just get the
they
play.
Start off winning this.
Yeah, so I think, iBoy just over chasing and literally just getting hit by Viper the entire time. But you get the reset coming through, as we were talking about with the call for iBoy, but it does mean that Viper's actually able to get a reset off now and match that, which is kind of where you don't get that similar play or the same value out of that play as you would generally, because when you crash 4th wave, it actually stops Viper from being able to reset the wave himself. It takes too long for him to push out with that cannon wave as well to actually crash wave and reset and match the buy. But because iBoy messed it up, well, then it means that Viper actually does get that reset in, and you don't get to keep abusing this matchup as much as you would like.
Now, I do want to ask you, because we're getting up close to the first dragon, do you feel like dragons are super important for EDG to continue to play that winning condition as we see Flandre get very, very low here? Because you can see Yuyanjia pathing down towards this bottom lane, and I do wonder if they're able to kind of pull that through. But it looks like he's actually just going to fall up top. So apparently I don't know what I'm talking about. And Cube is forcing Flandre to stay in the lane. How rude.
Yeah, I don't think dragons are actually going to be massively important for EDG. Like, at the moment, it's like, hey, we've got an Azir, doesn't really skirmish well in the early stages. Like, we're just going to kind of give that one up. You got push on bot side as well. So, honestly, I think it's more on Leyan, as you can see now, to try and, like, pick these up solo, just so that then Strive and iBoy can keep abusing that fact that they've got control there and, like, start getting some advantages for yourself. You just do have to be careful. Like, Jiejie trying to maybe see if he can respond to this alongside Scout, but, yeah,
It's getting a little low here for comfort. They are bringing iBoy and Yuyanjia up here. The dragon will be taken, smited, and flashed away from over the wall from Leyan. He'll just go right back to farming.
Yeah, so Jiejie a little bit late, but actually now starting to move across. So the thing is, Wukong doesn't really beat Trundle in the early stages, but knowing how low Leyan went, looks like Jiejie may be trying to make something happen.
Oh, the handshake on iBoy. He has to cleanse and almost dies because of it. That was very, very close. They are collapsing this bottom lane, though. Jiejie taking the fight against Leyan. Scout tries to go in a little bit early. Jiejie in some trouble here. As back and forth as this bottom lane is, it is chaotic as flashes start to come out. Jiejie a little bit scared there from Yuyanjia, but it's like sharks circling some prey in the water here at this point. As EDG, they are moving on Yuyanjia and iBoy. Leyan is here but has no health. Scout gets first blood. Here comes Strive. A lot of turret damage on the Viper. Viper just dies. Meiko, you got to get out of there, bud. Strive is trying to get in there but can't get Scout. Meiko will eventually fall here, I would think, unless he can somehow get out of here with some shielding. And Strive doesn't follow it up. You think you get a lot more than you came for EDG, but it's a 2-for-1, and EDG come out on top.
Strive was just a little late to the play. Wanted to finish pushing in that mid wave before he came down to the party, but those 2 or 3 creeps means that he's not here for the initial play starting off. And you'll see Scout gets a great Emperor's Divide immediately to turn this one back around. Kills iBoy off rip. Scout tanking up quite a bit of damage, but will drop tower aggro before he tries to get out of there. Viper, though, manages to pick it up on the back end, so Strive end up able to finish him off. And here, you can see Strive, just unfortunately, once the creeps arrive, Meiko feels comfortable to just try and play in towards that, and without knowing where the other members of EDG are, Strive doesn't want to try and follow up on the play. But, I mean, just a nice roam time by EDG, kind of playing off the fact that Rare Adam had to commit resources to that dragon. So Scout gets pushed mid, Viper and Meiko end up with a decent wave that they've frozen on that bot side, and compounding on again the fact that iBoy has been misplaying in this lane consistently. Like, that's twice now he's taken really bad trades, and EDG have benefited from it.
I'm still just like mind reeling that it took 2 turret shots to kill Viper there. That was a lot of damage. But it's also the turnaround that you kind of want to see from EDG, even if they are overextending, flexing their muscles a little bit here as we saw them, trying to make a calculated play bottom lane. I think when you're trying to look at burden of execution, it was pretty high on that one. And you still love to see at least pushing forward, trying to, especially at the end of the season, trying to get some of these plays down.
Rare Adam are going to start up this Rift Tower on the top side. Jiejie will be able to spot that one out. And looks like Leyan goes, I'm real sorry. And look, it was just a prank, bro. It's just like,
it's just a prank. It's just a prank. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. But EDG actually moving in with Scout. It is Cube who's here first, but no teammates to speak of. And Cube, he gets pushed right out of his mist. He has to walk away. Needlework used. Flandre comes into collapse. Not there just in time. But that's Rift Herald over to EDG.
And this is a disaster for Rare Adam, because again, we talked about how they were the ones that should be making the proactive plays. iBoy, good matchup bot. Strive should be able to get push and move bot, but every single time they've just fumbled the play. Now though, you can see Viper hyper aware that he's been left on his own, very aware that Rare Adam are moving into the vicinity, and we'll just kind of back away from this bot lane tower and at least let iBoy get some gold off these 2 plates.
That's actually going to be pretty big, though. A little bit of turret play gold for iBoy. EDG moving right back towards this bottom lane, though. As if iBoy and Yuyanjia stay a little bit longer, probably would have been a bit worse for Wear. But I like that EDG, have gone from that early, ease of pace in the game, especially Jiejie getting some farming around the map, to now just constantly kind of babysitting this bottom lane, making sure that this late game win condition of Viper is going to be there with a lot of support from the rest of the team moving down. The thing for me, though, is usually would love to see a little bit more activity from the Taliyah in the mid lane. We have seen some movements. It's been, albeit a little bit late, though, every now and then with those Weaver's walls, but that's where some of that skirmishing power from RA needs to be utilized.
Yeah, but I don't blame Strive for that, right? Like, the guy has been trying to get control over mid to then lean bot, but I mean, iBoy is caught twice, lost half his health, and it's like, well, if we make a play bot, chances are we just lose anyway. So Strive has kind of been put in an uncomfortable position where the lane he wanted to try and play around hasn't actually been winning. I mean, this is a matchup where Jinx should have a pretty sizable CS lead because she's able to push in, has support for her mid lane. Leyan even split the map in the early stages to give them that control, but it's been the 2v2 that has gone astray for them. Now, Rare Adam going to fall behind again further in this bot side because, well, Viper gets 3 plates and he's going to get the charge, which gives him 2 more. Sorry, he's going to get 2 plates, then 2 more. And now again, this Aphelios is getting massive far ahead. And this matchup can be quite dependent now as you start to press past the 10-minute mark on who gets Gale Force first. Because if you're able to close the gap as Viper, you can chase down this Jinx relatively easily. And I mean, with the amount of gold Viper's been given, he should be in a good spot.
They're giving up mid lane here for a lot of plays. Okay, I thought it was a little bit more than that. Okay, Scout, get some more damage on that play, then we'll talk. It is Dragon, though, taken down by RA. That'll be second Dragon in a row. Because I was questioning a little bit of the TP, obviously, from Strive to the bottom lane, just to kind of dissuade some of the pressure from EDG. But he's got Spellbook. He's right back to mid lane. Just lost that 1 play. It's not too shabby.
I mean, look, at least getting the Dragon will help Rare Adam to keep this one going. But as you say, like, the fact that they've had to commit so many resources. Oh, hang on.
Cube is in so much trouble. And Flandre gets the fade away, too. That's a feels bad, man.
It's going from bad to worse here for Rare Adam. They have to overcommit resources to the Dragon because they're behind on that bottom side of the map. And now they end up punishing mid because you lose the plate. Scout is pushing in again, so you're going to lose out on a wave there. You actually get the roam top coming through from Jiejie as well, which then sets Cube behind. And this is just the systematic deconstruction of Rare Adam that we're seeing from EDG. And honestly, Mazel, I'm all here for it. This is really good stuff from Edward Gaming.
All I'm saying is Strive just took the scenic route across the entire map. That man just walked all the way from TPing bottom lane to top lane just to watch his team die. And then Cube, unfortunately, just kind of left out to dry there.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Strive used the Weaver's Wall to get up here. Like, he knew that there was a play coming, but couldn't do anything. And now Scout will be forced to flash in mid.
Oh, nice seismic shove there. But it's a perfect wall right back in. And luckily, Leyan has a lot of health and a flash. So Scout goes down. Big pickup for RA.
Scout tried to make the play, see if he would be able to get the return kill in Leyan, but not respecting that the flash was up. So ends up falling for his troubles. Now, the 1v1 on top side.
The Cube is actually going for it here, too. Flandre realizes he needs to turn tail and run. Needlework. Not going to land. Cube's just going under tower here. Gets the kill, and he gets out. What a stud.
Great job to use the skip and slash as well to dodge away from the wallop. Jiejie now in trouble. Rare Adam, they were feeling a little bit frisky, and it's starting to struggle again for EDG.
It will be a quick smite to deny that vision from RA there, and Yuyanjia moving into the bottom lane here with Viper, who has gotten a decent amount of plays, but hasn't really gotten to spend all that gold just yet. It feels like trio of RA go over the wall and take an engage onto EDG here. Very, very close. I love it, though. You're getting a little bit of that bite back from RA.
Yeah, Strive even roaming down towards the spot side. Weaver's Wall not available, but EDG would like to get the tower. Jiejie needs to be careful here, as Strive is over the wall, but at least for Rare Adam, as you say, like, the last few passages of play, I mean, getting a kill mid, getting the kill top, preventing play on bot side, this is actually good stuff from Rare Adam to start fighting back against EDG.
You see Jiejie actually down here bottom lane has stopped his back. They will be spotted out, though. Leyan stops his back just in time as they have just tried to keep pressure down here. Moonlight Vigil from Viper a little early there. Like the aggression, though. They will be getting Scout down here as well as the scanner goes out from Jiejie. Strive on the back end has Weaver's Wall now, too. They just need to get this tower, but the tower is so pesky, Dagda.
Yeah, they should be able to get off this
Viper's
next
just
push
like, I need it. I need it now.
Yeah, he'll be fine. He'll pick it up. But as you can see, with so many members down here, Adam will have to try and back away, because at this stage, you're starting to get to the point where EDG were stronger on that push. Now with Kraken Slayer picked up for the Jinx and the Mythic completing the mid-up, make things a little bit easier. But we'll see here in this top side. I mean, this is just poor from Flandre. Like, has to try and get into the Hollowed Mist to actually make the trade. But again, Cube skipping slashes away from the wallop, has the Ghost, able to chase him down. And even with Flandre again, having that flash to get away. Watch here again. Wallop comes down, skip and slash away, and Cube able to finish him off.
Easy outplayed. It doesn't matter if you have a huge CS differential, Flandre. I am still Gwen with scissors, which is you know, I would say, like, on paper that's as scary as I would want it to be, but when you're watching it in gameplay, it's pretty darn scary. We will see Leyan start up the Rift Herald though. This is their attempt at trying to get this objective at least for themselves.
You know Gwen is terrified when she always runs with scissors. She just doesn't care. She really doesn't. But
what does
Flandre
Gwen's parents think at this point? What are they saying? Their grandma's kicking in her grave. Gwen, I can't believe you'd run with those scissors. It'll be a nice bit for RA though. They want to keep her running with scissors at this point, as they also pick up the
Meiko.
Rift Herald. Ooh, Weaver's Wall down in the mid lane here. Big hostile takeover back though. Meiko's still alive. Strive has to go golden handshake back. Meiko survived. Here comes the Cyclone, and Viper already gets one on a Strive.
How the hell does Meiko survive that?
G status.
There's somebody to pick him up. He still will. Splits the uprights there on Rare Adam. That is heartbreaking, and especially with Dragon now in 15 seconds. EDG get full control over the area. So Leyan gonna run topside here to see if he can instead help Cube with the tower.
Oh god, Scout. You just walked right into there. Emperor's Divide though, at least. They take a big old wallop, not Gnar's wallop, but you know, Trundle's wallop. The Rift Herald goes down. It could be threatening a tier 2, but Scout's right here to defend, so I don't know how much they're going to get with that. It will be the Dragon, though, secured for EDG on the cross map.
Yeah, and I mean, look, this is Cube getting a lot of resources now, and it feels like that's kind of the next big win con for Rare Adam when iBoy hasn't been able to establish a lead for himself. Sorry, I just glanced at this. That's a Blade of the Rune King for Viper. That is a very different build.
That's not normal, Dagda. It's not normal. I mean, maybe it's normal. Maybe I'm crazy.
Like I actually haven't seen this build a huge amount, as Flandre will get caught here. Let's see how he gets on.
I don't know what to say.
Yeah. So, like, I can understand from the thought process of, hey, look, I'm up against the Trundle. The slow, the percentage health damage is going to do a lot of work for me here and, like, helping me to kite back. But I feel like you have enough kiting tools here to try and help you with that. Maybe he's worried about, like, the Ghost coming through from Cube and stuff in team fights, but it's a really interesting change in the build to, like, hey, look, I want to do percentage health damage, especially if he's taking a cut down as well in his build, and he's just worried about the very big health bars that are on, like, Cube and Leyan in these fights.
I just feel like maybe this is me playing as a safety nerd for ADCs, but like the Gale Force obviously gets a lot of value in this one, and I wonder, you know, that difference in choices there, how it'll pan out for Viper. He's putting out some decent damage here with Scout on the flank. Could go for a big Emperor's Divide, and there you go. 3 members delivered back. Hostile takeover over the top of it, and Viper is just now getting into the fight. This is not how you want to take these fights, RA, and it is not going your way. That is EDG cleaning house. Yes, Flandre falls, but everybody else is just peachy.
And that's just a great setup from EDG. One of the big criticisms we've had of Rare Adam is that, look, when we get to this mid-game point, they tend to just ARAM, and EDG were more than prepared. Great ward over the wall to get themselves into that flank position, and Edward Gaming massively reaped the benefits. 2k gold, mid lane turret down, bot lane turret down, EDG starting to take over this map.
And that's what's crazy to me is RA were just like neck and neck. They've been actually putting up some decent moments here, and especially trying to transition to Cube carry here, but it's just moments like this, just a split-second decision, the path they can scout, that blows open the lead for EDG and makes it that much easier to close it out for them as they control the map now.
Yeah, great roam from Flandre as well, and like just kind of playing around the vision control that Rare Adam actually had set up. Like, he managed to skirt his way around 3 or 4 different wards there to get into a position. So really nice job across the board from Edward Gaming. And now they find Leyan once more, but I mean, he has that frozen domain, so should be able to walk away. But that does buy time for a Scout to get this top lane turret.
We'll see Strive actually being able to get the bottom lane tower in return here, hopefully, for RA. He was paying down there, but he's actually backing off because Flandre is going to be nice and poignant on his answer down in the bottom lane. And I at this point, right, we're talking about RA. The stability has not been there. What we were looking for at the beginning of the day, that has definitely not been here in game number 1. But I like that we were talking about how they kind of win in this situation, how they kind of transition to get something for themselves. I think the side lane is obviously where we have to focus. The coordination around getting cube, these, you know, opposite side advantages at this point is where they really have to look towards.
Yeah, I mean, they have to try and get something here. Like, Cube is going for this one-shot build that we started to see come out a little bit more rather than the Nashor's Tooth and heavily reliant on your ultimate to try and pick people off. So maybe that'll give Cube a little bit of opportunity here in these fights. The rocket goes wide to try and pick off Viper in the backline, maybe try and get onto Scout, but it just feels like with the bailout, with the amount of damage that's there, it just feels very, very hard for Cube to have these big moments in this fight, especially because Scout can play so far back as this Azir and not really have to worry about things. A minute now until the Dragon. I mean, this is going to be the big test for Cube to see how he can get on, but unfortunately not even having the Void Staff completed, you really want like the Cosmic Drive here as well, or even like a Rabadon's honestly for Cube before he can try and be that major threat. So Rare Adam, it just feels like they don't have enough in the tank right now to fight against EDG.
They're actually looking for a play and potentially transition for EDG up here towards this Baron. Maybe just trying to put the thought in their mind of EDG that, oh, we could do the Baron. Oh, you gotta pay attention up here. And we'll see EDG's attention is pulled up here towards the Baron pit.
Yeah, I mean, they're just trying to get the vision control down. Scout still pushing on the bot side, so maybe Rare Adam have a chance. No TP on Scout, but again, no real engage.
It's such a force, and now Jiejie goes in. Hostile takeover on to 3 members there. Jiejie able to get out though quickly with the clone, and EDG take that engage, throw it right back, and a little bit of skirmishing back and forth.
The ultimate was popped by Yuyanjia, but you've still got more engage tools as iBoy. Goodbye, sir. Scout wants to try and get you, but may not be able to here as EDG again push Rare Adam onto this top side. They've now get the mid lane tier 2.
What is going on here?
Dragon still there. EDG just playing the map better.
What is going on here? RA are just desperate. They just want to take the Baron, but now they can't. They realize, like, I've never seen a moment like this. We're just stuck staring at each other across the way, waiting for the shoot-off to go down as EDG now moves back towards mid lane to try to take this tier 2 tower. RA are right behind them, trying to get a flank here. Strive does have the Weaver's Wall, but the tower falls immediately, and Cube as the front line isn't able to get much.
And this is what we're talking about, lack of engage on Rare Adam. Yuyanjia not having depth charge makes it very difficult for them to actually find these fights, and EDG are just playing around that beautifully. You get mid push, you throw down the turret, the Sun Disc from the Azir, making sure you continuously keep a push in mid lane, forcing Rare Adam into a comfortable spot. And Rare Adam, yes, try to bait Baron, but they can't turn without that engage tool from Yuyanjia. So EDG again just walk back and continue to get the Dragon. So really good stuff from Edward Gaming, kind of identifying the weak point of Rare Adam once that depth charge isn't available.
And you'd wonder if like the Weaver's Wall can be some sort of an engage, but there's a lot of risk to that kind of engage because Strive ain't that tanky. Strive will get blown up by EDG, so there's not anybody else but Yuyanjia. You got to make sure those timings are on point and making sure you have the depth charge up and targeting the right person, right? Because a lot of times we're seeing EDG, they're able to take the engage from RA, deal it back a little bit, and be just fine afterwards, right? They have a lot of peel tools. They have a lot of disengage, and it's been used really well so far.
Exactly. So that's why if you look at Strive, it'd be really nice to go, hey, a Weaver's Wall in behind Viper, for example, right? Everyone ditches Viper and pick off Viper. But because the rest of your team isn't as mobile, it's very easy for like a hostile takeover in a, what's the word I'm looking for? In a funnel position where everyone has to group up together to completely dissuade the rest of Rare Adam from following up. And suddenly EDG deal with Strive, as you say, Mazel, and then back away. So you've got to be very careful as Strive on how you use this. Especially if you end up having to move through choke points to get into those.
Look at this cheeky man Scout. He was waiting the entire time. Emperor's Divide on the side, but he is separated from the rest of his team. Here comes the hostile takeover. Here comes Viper. Viper has it burned up, and Viper is putting in some work here. Yuyanjia and Scout finish it off. Cube TP's late, and this could be Baron on the table. We have pings going from EDG.
Gorgeous pick coming through from Edward Gaming. Did look a little bit risky as the exhaust came through from Strive, but they're able to carry through with the help of Viper showing up. Baron will now be going over towards Edward Gaming, and Cube has to start the long trek back down to bot lane where he just left as his team is long gone.
Like, I just don't get it. It's so different. It's like, it feels like child's play for EDG in some extent because they're just finding these crazy, like, Scout is always finding these backdoor Emperor's Divides, but then we constantly see they go for these aggressive plays, they overextend, and somehow they end up living every time because the communication, the synergy is just on point for, you know, would-be world champions last year.
But these jungle corridors are perfect for exactly what EDG are trying to do. You've got Azir, brilliant in jungle corridors.
Yeah.
Meiko with the hostile takeover. Again, these choke points, brilliant for that ultimate. And that's basically what and even Jiejie as well with the Cyclone. Great in these enclosed spaces. This is what EDG are playing for and what they're trying to find these picks around. And Rare Adam, like you talk about a child, like they are like children who can't see over the counter, right? They have no vision anywhere because EDG have been denying them that.
Meiko might get caught out. We've seen him in this position before. RA are TPing now in behind with Strive, but they've already taken a lot of damage from Yuyanjia, and Flandre is on the flank here. There's not much you can do. Weaver's Wall to cut off the flank out of the side, but Strive just getting engaged on here. Jiejie has found him as well. Oh man, that's so unfortunate. Strive goes down and RA have to turn their tails and run.
I mean, the pick may have got a little bit of right there for Rare Adam as EDG have to turn that one back. Again, TP's invested by Rare Adam to try and make these plays happen, and EDG are just easily there to respond. They will be able to get this bot lane inhibitor turret. Flandre's pushing mid, and this is exactly what we're worried about for Rare Adam. They just can't stand up against the new EDG.
They cannot. Viper is just flexing even
God.
harder. He's going over the wall. He gets the kill. Hostile takeover didn't do much, but it doesn't matter because RA are falling like paper. It is mid lane focus for EDG, and this game one is well within their grasp as they take down another inhib, and RA's chances dashed in game one, and EDG one step closer to locking in the summer playoffs here. They want to get one last engage. There's that double move comp I was talking about, Dagda, as we finally get to see it in the end, and this will be a clean game one win from EDG.
I mean, it started with Viper and Meiko getting control of the bot lane, and it ended with them murdering Rare Adam on their fountain where they stood. A brilliant win for Edward Gaming on that one. Great control from start to finish, not really giving much room to Rare Adam, and finding these quick windows where Scout had control over the mid lane to look for Rome's boss. I mean, this was a classic EDG game.
I got a name for the Azir Gnar combo. It's the scoop and boop. Because, you know, you double, I guess it'd be the double scoop and boop. There you go. No, but it was really incredible stuff to see the execution level for EDG come out, to see them, you know, play a pretty easy early game, right? Taking a lot of backseat motives in that one, especially the farming from Jiejie early. But then they knew that RA were trying to put resources into iBoy. They said, no, you know who we have in bottom lane, right? Like, we're just going to put back the focus there. We don't need to put focus anywhere else. And they kept going back there. They kept returning to the Viper well, and little did they know they would come up with water.
But that's the thing, the Viper well never dries up. Like, Viper has been such an insane player for so long. I think in the entire time that he has been in the LPL and I've been casting, he has had one bad series, which was just recently against OMG. Apart from that, he has been incredibly on point. So the fact that you're able to kind of lean into that is fantastic. I think Scout as well, like I kind of said, hey, look, you know, against the Taliyah, this Azir is going to struggle to get control, going to struggle to try and have an impact in these early stages and at these early skirmishes. But honestly, Scout finding these really good windows because Strive was forced to try and help at Leyan and a lot of these dragons, and then using that to set up dives. It was just really well orchestrated by Edward Gaming, kind of understanding, hey, look, you can put a little bit of pressure here, cause Rare Adam to overcommit resources, and we will be able to bring it back afterwards.
I just want to put a little highlight on Strive. Do you remember that viral video of like the beach volleyball woman where she's like running around at every single corner, hitting the volleyball up?
Yeah.
I feel like that was kind of Strive this time around. We need to get the pool party Taliyah skin there for, which I think he had actually in the end. Because the fact is that like he was literally trying to be everywhere. He was utilizing his spellbook as best he could. He like that one play where he literally TP bottom lane, used the ghost and the Weaver's Wall to get all the way top lane. It's unfortunate because you see some of the machinations for RA, but then you look at their competition EDG and you just see the spike to the ground that is the competition they felt so comfortable coming out of the draft with.
Yeah, again, though, like the problem is not the like Strive or even Cube. I mean, Cube got a solo kill in this game. Cube looked good on the Gwen. We look towards Strive, as you say, like trying to run around and put the like cork into every single hole that was the sinking ship for Rare Adam. But I mean, it's not really on Cube or Strive. I mean, it is on this bot side. Again, like you have a winning matchup for iBoy and Yuyanjia, yet somehow when they're level 2, they get the level 2 win and then they lose against the level 1 team. The reason that's so insane is, like, if you actually look at the value that you get off these levels in the early stages, it's about a 300 gold or 350 gold advantage you get from stats in your levels. So you essentially have a kill extra worth of gold when you get that level advantage. And they need even more at these early stages because you don't have full access to your kit. So you have an extra ability to use. In this case, it was the Chompers. The fact that they still end up losing out is insane to me. And it just says what we were kind of highlighting at the start of the day. This bot lane has been massively underperforming for Rare Adam.
It has indeed. He wasn't even that far behind a Viper in gold and XP. It's actually kind of crazy in the end. But we'll see if EDG can lock in a summer playoff spot right after a short little break. We have potentially 2 more games left in this first best of 3.